I was very lucky to be here during the NBA Finals, watch those games, do the shows with you guys. I will for always associate that Finals with this show, and it holds a special place in my heart. And it was amazing to have Marques Johnson calling the show the day after he was shirtless, rolling through the streets of Milwaukee. Like J.R. Smith. I mean, Marques Johnson, the 5-time All-Star. Raymond from White Men Can't Jump. He's got the guns out, shirtless. I was thinking, like, what if that was my dad? Like, how would I feel? How would I feel if I looked on Twitter and I saw my dad shirtless in a championship parade? So I thought we'd get someone on the show who could answer that question. So joining us right now, the king of NBA Twitter, at King Josiah 54, Josiah Johnson, who watched his dad shirtless celebrate the Milwaukee Bucks win. What was that like for you to see the big guy do that?
First of all, what's going on, Legends?
What's up, Legends?
What's up?
Hey, he's looking real good out there. He's like 260. We might have to get him tested for HGH, though. I don't know. You know, if he was in the Olympics right now, he might get banned just based on what's going on. Because he looking too good for 65, so something got to be up.
Is he just on one when he's out there the whole time? What was that like? Because you were out there for a game, yeah?
So we went out there for Game 3, me, him, and my older brother, Chris. And after that point, I flew back home the next day, and he was going to fly back too. But he had such a good time Game 3. He was like, man, I'm going to stay for Game 4. So we ended up staying for Game 4, hung out with Kareem, Dave Chappelle, that whole crew. They had a legendary group photo with all types of legends. Even Kendrick Perkins was in the mix over there. So then he was like, man, you know what? I'm going to go back for Game 6 too. So went back for Game 6. Obviously, they won the championship. And then, you know, the city of Milwaukee just honestly really is a amazing city. They embrace him, and they treat him so well. So I had the Jeep for him. He was mashing down the city. Funny thing, he doesn't drink. He's been sober since like 2000. So, you know, he was out there just high on life, you know, turning up with the crew. So just to see him out there shirtless, flexing, doing all that great stuff was amazing.
Incredible. It's so great. It's so great, Joe.
He got a 6-pack. Like,
it looks awesome.
I think it looks incredible.
Joe, let me ask you real quick before we get in this interview. You know, as most young men, we get to a point in life where we look at our dad and we grow up a little and we try to buck up a little and be like, yeah, I think I might try you. Did you ever reach that point with your dad? And I'm hoping you didn't, but did you ever reach that point where you're like, let me see if I could take the old man?
I mean, growing up, we used to hear all these stories about how great our dad was. We had seen the Jordan picture at North Carolina with his poster on the wall. But he had a janky hip and he had a neck injury, which effectively ruined his pro career. He was able, obviously, to bounce back from that and play a little bit more with the Warriors and overseas. But for most of my life, I just thought my dad was washed. Because when I was like 13, 14, I was giving him buckets, giving him that work one-on-one. But thankfully, his parents and him did a great job of just documenting all his games. So we had a bunch of betas and VHSs. So I started going through them one day. Saw him giving, you know, everybody in the league buckets. Dr. J, he blocked Kareem's shot, which he's got on his phone now. I remember LeBron came and played at UCLA. He pulled LeBron aside, pulled up that clip of him blocking Kareem just to show LeBron he was certified. But, you know, so seeing him now, you know, it's just in the way he's going, obviously being a Nick Smith Hall of Fame finalist, didn't get in last year, but we're super optimistic and hopeful they'll be able to make that push and get on through. You know, seeing his game get the respect and love it deserves from guys like LeBron and Giannis and everybody in the league, and being, you know, not a first point forward, but the creator of the turn point forward is a tremendous thing, especially the way the game has evolved with so many guys like LeBron occupying that role now.
At King Josiah 54, Josiah Johnson joins the show. You know him from Outta Pocket, Wave TV, Buckets. He's a legend. He was the writer on Mostly Football, the show I did with Martellus Bennett, which, as you can imagine, only lasted one season. We're happy to have him on the show. We're happy to have him on a day like today when we, as basketball fans, are blessed with news like Andre Drummond will be backing up Joel Embiid. When you find out that information for what you do on Twitter, creating content around what's happening in the world of basketball, are you salivating? Like that's just a layup for you, isn't it?
Ben, it used to be a layup. I'm trying to change my life. There's a lot of negativity and bitterness on Twitter, so I'm trying to be more positive and uplifting. Occasionally I'll get my jokes in here or there, but I always say like this, you know, when I was first starting, I was able to do a lot of that stuff because I didn't have to worry about seeing these guys on the streets. But now guys like KD, Steph, LeBron follow me and love my stuff, so I got to be super, super cognizant of that every time I post, because as you see, KD on Twitter is a menace, so I don't ever want to be in his crosshairs or end up on the wrong side of a KD tweet. So I just try to keep it real respectful now. But occasionally, you know, I got to get my jokes in and dig in a little bit. There was definitely a lot of news yesterday and today that was worthy of some attention. So these moments, obviously, with the season now over, this is kind of like the last dance, the last hurrah to get these jokes off before the new calendar basketball season.
I appreciate your positive attitude, putting good energy out into the world, making people laugh, bringing joy. But I do want to lower the mood just for a moment and send my condolences for your loss. I know you're grieving that Alex Caruso is no longer a member of the Lakers.
It was a sad day in the city of Los Angeles yesterday. As you guys know, Alex Caruso, honorary light-skinned, embraced in all parts and corners of Los Angeles. You know, he himself said he can't go to the cookout, but he can get a to-go plate. He can be within 150 yards of any cookout in L.A. But Los Angeles Lakers fans love what he does out of championship to the city, and he had to go get his bag. You never want to stand in the way of a man in his bag. The Bulls got a great defender, just a high IQ guy that's going to bring a lot of value to that squad, along with Lonzo Ball, a personal favorite of mine, you know, an instrumental member of the Ball family, and Zach LaVine, a former UCLA Bruin. I'm super excited for what Chicago did, and they got a good one. I'm a little sad that I saw reports that the Lakers didn't even try to, you know, match the offer whatsoever. They had Caruso's bird rights and kind of just let him walk. But, hey, you know, he's getting that Dellavedova bag. Hopefully he'll have a better result on the court than Delly did.
What color Carmelo Anthony Lakers jersey should I get, Joe?
I would say go with that powder blue. That powder blue. Oh. You know, definitely, you know, Melo would be great. Look, you know, if we got room, I'm yelling sign Melo. That's the motto. I know if we can get that crew together, the Browns putting together the Expendables, you know, as usual in these situations, a lot of people taking shots at him, similar to what they did, you know, in 2020 before the bubble. Oh, he thinks he's the GM. He thinks he's this. He thinks he's that. Then we're hoisting the trophy in the hardest championship in NBA history. So we don't have time for that. Right now they're saying we're washed and we're a team of just full of old dudes. But when we win the ship in 2022, they'll say it was a super team. So you know how the game goes and the goalpost move.
What happens to your timeline when you get a retweet from LeBron?
Oh, it's, you know, that was a momentous day. June 10th, 2021, you know, went into the Nets game. You know, just average day for me. I was going to get these flares out, get this heat off. Ended up putting up a tweet. And, you know, not only give him the cosign from LeBron, but we went back and forth like 3 or 4 times and actually had an interaction. So, you know, from that moment, though, I knew I was going to get a lot of hate and bitterness from the mediocre humans who haven't been co-signed and called the GOAT by their GOAT. It's just a tremendous feeling. I think it's, for me, it kind of, you know, my personal life, or my personal and Twitter, probably the greatest moment in my Twitter history. But now I got to build upon this because, you know, one is so close to none, so I need more co-signs now. I need more bags. I need everybody to get in line and really break bread. Josiah Johnson joins the show.
Yo, Joe, what's up, legend?
Outta Pocket, Wave TV.
Who's the next guy you're looking for to hit you with that retweet?
You know, probably Obama. You know, somebody on that level. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ would be nice. Just, you know, at this point, once you get with LeBron, it's like, you know, Oprah. I've obviously gotten the shout out from Ava DuVernay, who I've done a lot of work with and worked on her show. So just to see the way that people are getting behind the movement, really just getting on board with it has been great to see. And Brockman, I don't know if you remember, but I'm supposed to take your money at some point. We're supposed to have a shooting contest. I've been putting in work. I lost about 85 pounds since the pandemic. Got my jumper back buttery. So we need to go ahead and do it on the show. Rich can be there, Ben can be there, whatever you want to do. I'm coming to take your bread, and that is what it is.
What are we putting on it? Are we putting on a case of Tom Brady birthday kombucha? I mean, these things weren't cheap at Air One today.
We could put a big face dollar bill on it.
Josiah Johnson joins the show.
Anytime, Joe. I'm ready.
The casual name drop of Ava DuVernay we really appreciate because Joe's working closely with her on this Colin Kaepernick series. Where are we at with the Cap series, and what are audiences going to expect from it?
You know, I'm hoping that they make an announcement at some point soon when the show is going to debut so I can really raise these bags even higher. But getting the opportunity to work with Ava, Michael Starberry, who was the showrunner on the show and was a co-creator of Legends of Chamberlain Heights with myself, and also obviously being able to just be in the presence of Colin Kaepernick, just an amazing human being and just had such an amazing life, and everything he's done and continues to do to raise awareness about social injustice and all the other things going on. And it's crazy to me now to see all the stuff going on in the NFL with guys not wanting to get vaccinated and do simple things, and to see the way they respond to that versus the way they responded to a man who decided to do a peaceful protest to raise awareness for social injustice. And obviously Cap still hasn't gotten back in the NFL as a result of that. But I think this show is really going to spotlight and highlight just his life, how he became the man who he is. And it's going to be a really, really unique look at his life in his high school life and just kind of how he grew in the seeds that were planted early on that sprouted, obviously, once he became an adult in the NFL and, you know, did the things that he needed to do.
You know, I'm very lucky to consider you a friend, but I'm a fan first. It's how I first got familiar with your work, and to see you now telling sports stories across social media that make people laugh, and then working with someone like Ava DuVernay and a story of telling Colin Kaepernick's life to make people think. It's truly remarkable, man. I'm super happy for you and proud of you. When did you realize that sports storytelling was your thing and something you were going to be a part of?
Probably in the early 2000s when I was bench warming at UCLA. Anybody who could pull up my stats and see I wasn't the most decorated, glorified basketball player. But, on the bench, we had to really entertain ourselves for hours during games, to fight the depression, use comedy as a coping mechanism. So being in the locker room with guys like Trevor Ariza, Jordan Farmar, Earl Watson, Matt Barnes, Jason Capono, and just a cavalcade of just legends, you had to be able to hold your own, keep up, and keep the mood light, keep guys, really focused on the season. So at that point, and then afterwards, working at places like NFL Network with Brock, where we first crossed paths, obviously being able to work on mostly football with yourself, where we got to do a lot of crazy stuff, and they almost couldn't bring the show back after what we did. I think we offended a lot of people, but we raised the bar in terms of sports and comedy. So for me, everybody kind of looked at the social stuff and it's like, oh, he's a Twitter guy, and it's like really Twitter is kind of the least of the things that I do professionally. It's the one that keeps me the most engaged, and it's more a hobby than anything. So, I don't look at it as work. It's just, my job to entertain people, keep the mood light, especially with the pandemic that we've dealt with and are still dealing with. So people know they can come to my page. They can, take a load off, just get some good comedy. You're not going to see me out there bickering about PER and all that other stuff that we got a lot of Twitter GMs and experts who don't get a single check from any NBA team, but love to be on there, try to flex will do. I just like to keep the mood light and, keep people entertained.
You mentioned mostly football, the show we got to work on together. You wrote a skit that somehow had me doing a really bad Baker Mayfield. I had the full outfit on, like the mustache at the time. Do you remember that? That was a weird one. I don't remember the premise of it.
I think we used to have a great time with those skits, basically because we didn't have a huge budget to do them. So we would literally go to the t-shirt store down the street, get a Baker jersey made, throw you guys in and give you the headband, let you go run wild with it. And no, just a great time. Obviously, that show didn't really get the respect and love that it deserved. And I look now even at what that show was able to do. And, we had a great time, obviously, working with Martellus Bennett, who's one of the most brilliant human beings on the planet, obviously so much more than a football player and doing such amazing stuff in his career himself. And obviously James Davis, another close friend of mine. Me and James actually went to junior high school together, so one of the top comedians in the game. But, we're going to get the love we deserve at some point. Hopefully we get a banner. Hopefully we get our jerseys hung in the rafters at Yahoo Sports and Complex in both offices, the Beverly Hills, New York, Sunnyvale, and L.A. offices.
Sunnyvale.
And, at some point get the love that we deserve.
He said Sunnyvale. You look at comedy differently when you're talking about the NFL compared to the NBA. Is there a different language you speak when finding the jokes in each sport?
Well, yeah, with the NFL, those dudes are a lot bigger and tougher, so I got to be super, super mindful of it because, if those guys pull up on me on the street, I'm 6'8", 285, but I really, my hands aren't at NFL level, so, if those guys see me on the streets, it becomes problematic in a situation. So I always got to just be super, super respectful of it. And also they wear helmets, so it's hard to tell what a lot of those guys look like, so you just never know. I never want to get ambushed or anything like that. So be respectful, but also just, find a way to infuse the humor and comedy to the sport.
Josiah, getting back to the world of basketball, you excited for some of the moves the Clippers are going to make this offseason? Where do you see Clipper Nation heading into free agency?
I have no concern for the Clippers, Ben. As you know, it's LeBron James, Lakers. Obviously, I was a former Clippers fan till LeBron came to the Lakers. I swore full allegiance to LeBron in 2003 when he ascended from the heavens into the NBA. But, if they can get Kawhi back, obviously, which it looks like it's going to happen, I think, he's going to need a year to recover, but hoping that he's in good health. And I'm not one of those type of people that wants to see LA teams down. I love the city, so I would love to see, the Dodgers, the Rams, the Clippers, the Lakers all perform well. The Chargers, still haven't embraced them. They're still a San Diego team. They just play city. They're not fully embraced yet. They got to pull up the Roscoe's or something to get that full stampage. But you want the teams to be good. I would love to see a Western Conference Finals with the Lakers and Clippers, and obviously LeBron just smack them. But you want the teams to be successful. I don't want the Clippers to be nasty, then everybody beats them, and then when the Lakers do, it's not a big deal. We want that to really sting and burn. And rocking with LeBron has been a tremendous, tremendous ride, and trying to get championship number 5. Obviously, he's already the GOAT. There's no debate about that, as you guys are fully aware and know. But we really just want to cement that GOAT stamp on LeBron James.
I will say, look, Josiah was the first person I met at my first day at NFL Network, okay? I shadowed him. He taught me how to cut highlights and kind of do the thing at NFL Network. So his love for LeBron, I've seen it. It's real. It's not an act, okay? He's been talking about LeBron as the GOAT as far back as I've known him, so that's 12 years, okay? But, Joe, I saw in a picture that you posted recently, one of your kids was wearing a Giannis jersey. Like, what's up with that? Do they have favorite players other than LeBron?
Well, Brockman, as you know, my dad works for the Bucks. I do a lot of Bucks pandering. The city of Milwaukee has been amazing to me and my family. Pulled up to Game 3, got major love. We were turned up at the Jockey Club with the big shrimps and all you can drink beverages and all you can eat, shaking hands, hobnobbing, hanging out with legends like TJ Adeshola from Twitter, Kiki Vanderway, all types. So always major love, especially for Giannis as well. My dad has a great relationship with Giannis and is just so high on him as a human being. And to be able to see his development over the past few years and to see him turn into a champion, to see him kind of get the slander that he's got. Giannis doesn't have a bag. Giannis can't do this. Giannis can't do that. Now Giannis is a world champion, finals MVP, looking to repeat. So we got to keep the kids. We're not xenophobic in this house. We show a lot of love internationally. We respect guys. And had to get the Giannis jersey for the youngsters. Got a Lonzo Lakers throwback jersey, too. And I did a pod for the Wizards, so they sent me some Westbrook throwbacks, so I'm super appreciative of them as well. But we'll take whatever jersey we can get. We're trying to bring that throwback day back, with Fabulous and them from the early 2000s, really just have those 5X throwback jerseys really in the move.
Is Giannis the best player in the league now?
The best player not named LeBron James, I would definitely give him that title and distinction. But look, Giannis has a very compelling case for that argument. You can do that when you win a championship, you win a finals MVP, you went head-to-head with Kevin Durant. Obviously, the Nets didn't have a full squad, but that doesn't matter because I'm hearing the same chatter about the Lakers, who were literally an AD injury away from winning another championship. So the game is the game, as they said on The Wire, and you got to play with what you have. Giannis and the Bucks went out there and did it. They say he doesn't have a true superstar, but I think Chris Middleton really came into his own. Drew Holiday, obviously a UCLA guy, who was kind of playing a little wishy-washy earlier in the playoffs, but came through and is now helping to lead Team USA, hopefully to a gold. So they've got a super strong squad. Bobby Portis, obviously just a living legend, coming back. So I don't know if they're going to be able to repeat if the Lakers are healthy, but I'm looking forward to that Lakers-Bucks 2022 finals because I'll probably have more love in Milwaukee than LA, but I will be at multiple games.
Hey, last thing, Joe, before we let you go, are the rumors true that your co-host Zach on Outta Pocket is going to start wearing mesh shirts now that Russell Westbrook's a Laker? Is that true?
Zach, mesh shirts, nipple rings, the whole gamut. He's going to get some more tattoos, of just random meanings. But, super great to work with him on Outta Pocket, and thankful to the folks at Wave for giving us a look and letting us really go do the show that we want to and talk as wild and reckless as we want and do the things we've done. But, we're going to really get it in. Mesh shirts might be in, man. I think Westbrook, you might have the crop tops. You might have all types of just fashion statements being made, and I'm here for it. I love Russ. Obviously, Russ, a UCLA guy, I've known Russ a long time. And for me, it's really troublesome to see the slander that he's received throughout his career, just knowing how much of an amazing human being he is. And I think anybody who really knows Russell Westbrook's story would be just, have no reason to hate on the guy. Like, the guy's just, grew up in L.A., the things that he's done, the things that he's seen, being an underdog, not being a highly touted recruit coming out of high school and turning himself into one of the greatest players, I would say, in NBA history, the only player to average a triple-double in multiple seasons. Obviously, he's done it 4 times. And Russell Westbrook has made triple-doubles essentially look like nothing now. You got people that treat triple-doubles, what used to be this amazing, untouchable thing, now just like, oh, no big deal because Westbrook did it. But I think he's going to fall in line with the Lakers. I think LeBron and AD were smart for bringing him in. And if you're a Lakers fan, you should be super excited to have Russell Westbrook in the city, along with Trevor Ariza, a guy I played with at UCLA. Trevor might be a little old, but he's been chilling the past few years, so he's going to really come out here and get it, really do it, put on for the city. Hoop Masters legend Trevor Ariza back in the building. I'm super stoked for the crew.
I love the energy, Joe. You're so positive, man. It's infectious, like the DJ Khaled of NBA Twitter. I love it.
That.
Keep it positive,
We're
man.
the best.
Out here doing it.
Good stuff, Joe. Thank you for spending some time, and I hope Zach takes you up on those mesh shirts and nipple rings. That'll be good for the pod.
You gentlemen stay black and stay blessed.
Always, Joe, always.
Josiah Johnson, King Josiah, 54. What a legend.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.